Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We're so glad that you're here with us. Today, we have Travis joining us for his vlog or his video that he's going to share with us today. It's about the relationship between poverty and racism. So we feel that it's important to bring this up to you, and Travis is going to talk more about it in the rest of this video and in his blog post, which you can find the link to in our description below. But you can also find all of our posts, our history of our posts, on our website as well. I want to remind you to, of course, like this video, to share this video with your friends or family members, even on Facebook as it comes out, and to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so yet already. But I really am excited about this topic and what we're going to be discussing today. So, Travis, why don't you go and get us into why are we discussing this topic today?
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. We are discussing this topic of racism and poverty because it's really, I think it's important, but all too often we can not ask the right questions about our community, about the issues present within it. And so we recognize, first of all, here at Love Inc., we work with people who are struggling financially, right? We work with helping people who have needs of support, who need financial assistance, who need resources and items to help them get through the month. And looking at the demographics of the information we collect, they're disproportionate to the demographics within our county, within the broader population in our county. We serve a higher percentage of minorities than there are percentage-wise within the county. So if there's 10% of people who are Hispanic within Clackamas County, we serve about almost 30% of the people we serve just this year are Hispanic compared to the rest of, the demographics. And so if the color of somebody's skin or their ethnicity makes them more likely to have financial difficulties, to struggle with poverty, we have to ask why that is. Why is that a factor? Why are they more likely to have those challenges just based on those features? And how can we as the church make that right? How can we as the church ultimately see that nobody is struggling with poverty and dealing with those issues? And also in our context, because the percentages of minorities, percentages of people who are Black or Hispanic or other races, ethnicities are very small compared to the country as a whole, it can be pretty easy for us to kind of avoid talking about this, avoid asking these questions, which only makes the problems continue on and worse. When we turn a blind eye to injustices, it's just going to continue to allow them to go on. We're just being complicit in the issues. And so we need to bring it up. We need to ask these questions and have these discussions to learn how can we make sure that everybody has an equal chance to thrive in this community.
What is it that inspired this topic? Maybe for you personally, but then also you already kind of mentioned a little bit with Love Inc. and why it's important to us to address it because of the population that we serve. What is kind of inspired maybe more for yourself on this topic?
Yeah, I think for me, so I read this book earlier this year, The Anti-Greed Gospel by Malcolm Foley. And, I've read a number of different books talking about different issues that racism has caused and different issues related to racism, and learned a lot from it and been just absolutely humbled by it. But this book in particular, how he gets to what is the root of racism? Where does it come from? Often we have seen racism tried to be addressed and tried to make right by further educating ourselves and working on our hearts, and how can we befriend people who are of different, races, ethnicities from us, which are good things, and that's not bad. But ultimately what he gets at in this book is that the root of racism is actually greed. It's actually our own self-interest that has created this category of race to justify our exploiting of somebody else. And this goes back to our history. This goes back to our history in this country, of how we have benefited from the exploitation of other people based on the color of their skin, justified by the color of their skin. And so ultimately I wanted to bring this topic up because we need to be aware of our past and how racism has affected our country, how it affects our community still today, If we aren't aware of the mistakes we've made, the wrongs we've done in our past, we're just going to keep committing those same wrongs, making those same mistakes. And so we really need to take a look back at our past and learn how is that affecting us today, and how can we move forward in a way that helps us not make those same mistakes again and move forward in a healthier way. And so that's what kind of inspired this topic, this book, and just all these other discussions around it. Like, how can we better move forward in a way that, as the church, that helps address the disparities we see within our community.
And I think the thing that I'm honestly excited about is that we're pulling outside of our normal authors that are writing for this subject matter, and individuals who have very close proximity with working through and processing, but then also dealing with and experiencing forms of racism and challenges in their life. So I'm excited about the various authors we have that are going to be writing on this subject. I'm grateful for them, first of all. What could we expect from this discussion for this month?
Yeah, so this discussion, for one, like you mentioned, we are the four of us typical writers that we typically make up the blog. We're trying to step back and invite other voices into this conversation. We recognize there's not necessarily a whole lot of racial diversity among us, and we want to go outside, find other voices, find other people who speak about this not just from a place of I've learned from other people, but people who have maybe a more personal understanding of this topic. And so from this, we do have, at the moment, we should have at least 2 guest writers that have contributed to this discussion, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear their perspectives, their voices on this. But we've had discussions with lots of other people too, who just for one reason or another haven't been able to write for us. And so we're ultimately going to try and just, as much as we can, bring in other voices to share on this discussion and really help shape how we think about this topic, and how we can move forward to find real solutions to this problem, to the ways that racism has shaped our communities today.
Travis, thank you so much for sharing with us, sharing your heart, your passion, but then also helping us move through this challenging topic, because I know that it can be very divisive. There's a lot of history, not only in America, but even worldwide with these issues, but we all have our part to play in it. I really want to encourage our viewers and our readers to stick with it and to help. I want to encourage you guys to process with us. These are things that it's good for us to address. I think through the blood of Christ, it allows us to do it in a way that is beautiful and healthy. And when we work here at Love Inc. and we're getting these disproportionate numbers to our community of these individuals, we want to make sure that we are serving in a way that is beautiful. And so I want to encourage you guys to stick with us, but then also continue to ask questions, ask Travis and the other authors on their different blog posts various questions. So we don't want to be bystanders. We don't want to be people that are complicit. Thank you so much again for joining us today. We're very grateful for you guys for sticking with us through this video.